Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Before we start today's episode, I want to put it in a plug. If you'd like to help support the show, you can purchase a Riding Shotgun with Charlie patch or Riding Shotgun with Charlie stickers and Gungram stickers. You can buy these at ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com. You definitely need to subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel if you are watching the show. I know people don't think about that, but please subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications so that you can get notified when shows come out. Also, if you like the Riding Shotgun with Charlie t-shirts, I have Riding Shotgun with Charlie t-shirts and the Gungram t-shirts at the Teespring store, which is teespring.com/stores/Riding Shotgun with Charlie. So please check all of that out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode. Today we are near Ocala, Florida. I think near is good. And we have with us author and instructor and DC project gal, Shirley Watral. Now, this is what I love about my gig. I get to hang out with all of the DC chicks, and I finally have Miss Florida in the car.
You do. She's in the house.
She is. All right, so let's go for a quick ride and tell people about ya.
Well, like you stated, I am a firearms instructor. My business name is Shirley Watral, firearms instructor, firearms training. I started this probably, 3 years ago. Time does fly, you know?
It really does.
It's crazy. And I would, if you asked me 20 years ago if I'd ever even pick up a firearm, I'd say you're crazy. Because I didn't start shooting until about 7 years ago.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
I know. Who knew it would be so much fun? And the people, the community.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love the shooting community. They are so nice, so thoughtful, so helpful. Oh, you want to try my gun? Here, try this.
Right. Here's my gun. Here's some ammo. I'll pay for it. So go ahead, give it a try. Sometimes it feels like we're drug dealers because you get the first mag for free, and then it's going to cost you, right?
Exactly. I will tell you, my first goal was when I took my firearms class, I was going to buy 2 guns. One to practice on the range, and one to carry. That's all I needed.
That's it.
And it took me almost 6 months to decide what that first firearm was that I was going to buy.
Really?
I went to the range and all the guys would, here, try this one, try this one, try this one. And finally I did pick one. It was a Springfield.
Nice. You know, guns are like potato chips, right?
How's that?
You can't have just one.
Yeah, so I learned that. I learned that. So my 2 guns now is, let's just say there's a lot more. I'm not going to give you a number, but there's a lot.
The 2 guns I tell people about are...
Exactly.
It's the Springfield and then the other one.
And the other one.
Do you know how many guns are enough guns?
There's never enough.
Just one more.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one too. Yeah, there's always one more.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so, and the funny part is that when I first started this, it's kind of a little funny story, I think. I was trying the Glocks because everybody loves a Glock,
Everyone's got a Glock, right?
I hated the Glock.
Because they're kind of square?
No, it jammed every time.
Really?
I didn't have that.
Were you limp wristing?
Yeah, I didn't have that yet, you know? I was just learning.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know why everybody likes the Glock. They always jam.
They always jam on you, yeah.
So I got the Springfield, and guess what I shoot now? Glock. I got more Glocks than Springfields, let's just put it that way.
Nice. You know, I always tell people, if you if you really want to become a gun folk, you got to get a revolver.
That's one thing I don't have yet. I know.
All right, you need to get out.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, exactly. I might even slow down. What I like about revolvers is you can work on a double action trigger squeeze.
Yeah.
And I tell people this all the time, if you can get a good double action trigger squeeze on a revolver, the trigger squeeze on everything else is going to be a breeze. I've seen so many people that are semi-auto striker fired shooters that when you give them a revolver, the first thing they do is pull the hammer back. And there's part of me where I'm like, oh, so you have not really a good trigger squeeze. Okay, I mean, that's okay. We can work on that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I never thought of that. That'll have to be my next purchase.
Excellent.
I'll put it on the list, the Christmas list.
The Christmas list.
Yeah, for Santa.
Good. All right, so tell us how you became an instructor. What led up to all of this? Because you had some sort of incident that changed your life.
Yes, it did. I was in an office. I was the director of IT for a number of years for a local county tax collector's office, and that was all I knew. I thought my life was perfect. I had the career. I was in a relationship that I thought was perfect. Life is wonderful, but then he wasn't so wonderful. Things started to change. That person went from a caring, loving, listening person to obsessive, and where were you? What are you doing? And all of a sudden I got this feeling like, this isn't quite right,
That's not right. That's not a healthy relationship.
No. So I just was like, yeah, I think I want to kind of step back from here, and the further I step back, the worse it got, basically.
Really?
Yeah. He got a little crazy, let's put it that way. But I did go through a situation that was held against my will for about 12 hours. I didn't know anything about firearms at the time.
Right.
And I don't want to tell you a whole bunch about the book because
you need to buy the book.
want to read it. It's called Heels to Holster because I went from an office and now I wear a holster. So
nice.
Kind of the conversion there. But I will tell you, it just got progressively worse to the point where I did finally get away. And it was kind of weird how I did that. And I don't really want to tell you, but I do want to tell you. It's one of those.
Yeah, a little teaser?
Yeah, I'll give you a little teaser. But sometimes you're in a situation and you think, this is it. My life is over, and you're either gonna go out with a bang, so to speak, or you're gonna win. One of the two. I wasn't gonna go out quietly, I guess you could say. And that was at one point I made that decision, and a firearm was brought out, and I did go for the firearm because I figured, he's gonna shoot me anyway.
Right.
But what also happened is, once he figured out that I was ready to fight, then he threw in my family. And that's a whole different avenue when someone threatens your family.
Yeah, that's...
okay, I'm going to take a contract out on your family, and then it just got worse. He got crazy.
Was he in the mom? Was he in the mom? Or can you neither confirm nor deny this?
I don't know, but he probably would have been a good candidate.
We don't know, but he did like a lot of pasta.
So he always told me I had a lot of connections, but I never know. You never know. But I did get out of that situation. It was kind of crazy how at some point I just said, all right, whatever you want, I give up. And he said, okay, we can go now. And I was like, all right. And then you thought that would have been it, but it just kept getting worse.
Wow.
Yeah, to the point I was being stalked, and my life was in danger. He did attempt to kill me.
Oh my God.
And it's by the grace of God I'm here today. And I'm going to tell you a whole lot more because I want y'all to read the book. Because here's it's not like, how am I going to put this? I want you to read the book because for me, I want people to understand what it's like when a woman's going through situations like this.
Yeah.
Because I know lots of times you get talking and I go to coffee with a bunch of guys and we're talking about women in abusive situations, and I go, yeah, why don't they just leave? That's me saying that, right? Why don't they just leave? They can get their life back together. But let me tell you, after going through this, I understand. When you put fear in it, if you have kids, and if your monetary attachment is to that person, that's a whole new avenue. So I defend them, and I say I totally understand why it's so hard to leave. I know you want to, but there's that fear is a driving force. I got to tell you, I know that. But so I take you with me. I live this whole situation, and I write it so I don't tell the story. I want you to live the story with me again. So I do that. And that's not even the most important part of this book. The most important part of the book is how I stopped letting that event empower me, take over my life and decide my life. I learned how to become independent again. firearms class, when I drove home, I remember driving home. First, I went to a class. I didn't know anybody. I'm a woman, mostly men in the class, so everything was intimidating for me.
Sure.
And I was scared, never handled a firearm, didn't know people. And when I survived that, and I was on the range for half a day shooting, and that whole bit, I was like, wow,
this is really cool.
Pretty cool.
I have never taken someone to the range and I've had people say that they're not interested in getting a gun, and that's cool. But I've never had someone say, oh my God, I never want to do this again. I've had people say they're not interested. They become less, if they're nervous and scared about it, they kind of get through that, but they're like, yeah, I don't know if this is for me. Okay, cool, that's fine. But if they're dead set against it and they don't want to try it, it's like getting your kids to eat peas.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have the no thank you bite. You know, have a no thank you magazine, shoot the gun a few times. If you don't like it, that's fine, but you're probably going to find out that you do like it, and it's not going to be horrible, and it's not going to do all the evil things that everyone thinks it's going to happen.
Right. Lots of times, because a lot of my students are women, and that's kind of where my passion is anyway, is they're afraid of it because
Sure.
They get that...
Because they watch the Hallmark Channel?
Yeah, they get that impression like it's going to go off just by
Right,
itself.
it's going to go off by itself, it's going to shoot them, and yeah, it's a mess.
And some of them had terrible experiences with their spouses or family members.
Yeah.
Here, take this shotgun, and they're a little kid, and they shoot it, and then
right, and they shoot the 12 gauge, knocks them on their butt. Yeah, that's not good.
So if when they're at that point, you got to take them, bring them back to a place where it's not so scary, and then go from there to teach them firearm safety too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's how I started changing my life, and then I ended up, after I became a, well, let's see, where did my life go?
Yeah, so you gotta go from, there has to be something that says, oh my gosh, this shooting stuff is not what everyone thinks it is. I want to pass this on to other women, and to get more people into it.
Exactly, and like I said, it took me a while to get my first gun, and then the guys in the club, they were like family. Oh, come on, Shirley, come shoot with us. And then I had all these friends, and I told the range, I said, I'm going to come once a month because I want to be proficient with it, because I want to defend myself.
Yeah.
And I ended up going every weekend. And then I got hooked. And then someone said, try 3-gun. Because, I did a little IDPA, and I went, that's okay. And they go, oh no, you got to try 3-gun. You want me to shoot 3 guns?
Right.
And I was like, okay, now I have to learn about a rifle and a shotgun.
And a handgun. Oh my God, that's awesome.
But then they didn't tell you have to lug around all that ammo when you go to a match.
Yeah, the ammo, the gear. I started teaching gun classes to support my shooting habit.
Yeah.
I'm like, we didn't have any money, and I'm like, what can I do to get me out of the house and away from the wife and kids, and to go do some shooting, and maybe bring in money that I don't have to spend.
There you go.
I think I'll become a gun instructor. And then, of course, I'm like, I can buy guns and ammo right off of my taxes. I love that idea. I love that.
When someone told me that, I went, huh?
Really? I don't know anything about business, but that's really cool.
But did you find that, I found that when I left the range, I was so relaxed.
Oh, absolutely.
It's such a chill, you just go,
It's very relaxing. I may have spent time drinking when I was young, and there have been plenty of times when I've gone drinking. I said I am never going to do that again, but it has never happened after I left the range.
No.
Never happened. Saying, oh, you know what? I think I'm done. I'm going to hang it up. I'm not going to. Yeah. I don't drink tequila because of the way other people behave when they drink it. Yeah, I can't do that.
Well, when I leave the range, it's like, dang, I wish I would have brought more ammo.
Right? Oh man.
So I went from an office job that I worked for a number of years, and I ended up retiring from there. Managed a gun range for a few years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then I got a lot of training there. We had a lot of awesome instructors, like Keith Garcia came down, and a lot of tactical training. I did a lot of tactical training.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so that was a really nice time in my life too. A lot of work, but still enjoyed it. And then I just went on my own as a firearms instructor.
Good.
Yeah,
that's cool.
My passion.
I used to teach at a shooting school, and everybody that paid for the class paid $100. So I would stand up and teach a class with 20 people in it, and everyone's faces would look like Benjamin Franklin. And I'm like, everybody's $100, and I know I'm bringing in $2,000 for the boss, and he's paying me nothing like that. How can I bring in $2,000 for Charlie Cook? And that's when I'm like, maybe I should do this on my own.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, what happened was that the range didn't last that long.
But you did.
But it worked. But I moved on.
That's cool.
You know, that's the other thing. I learned for a while there. I regretted and hated this person in this book.
Sure.
But now it's like I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't go through that.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
it's hard. Sometimes it's hard for people to understand it.
To get to wrap that around your head. I know that it's not the same situation for me, but I had a number of changes in my life, and I hated going through it. It was miserable. It was horrible. But because of that, I get to do what I'm doing now, and I'm happy doing what I'm doing now. It wasn't so bad.
Yeah. Because when I was living this, it was like I stepped into a horror movie.
Yeah.
It was like, and I go, this can't happen to me. I'm from an old farm. I'm from up north.
Good person.
I'm a good person. How did I get here? And then I was like, well, there's a lesson there, and there's a reason for it. And then when someone said, oh, here, put it on paper.
Put it in a book.
I went.
Right, I'm not an author.
I'm not an author, and nobody, even the people I worked with when I went through it, never knew the whole story.
Oh, sure.
It took a long time for my nephew never even knew the whole story. So they said, no, put it in a book. Just think of how many women you can help. And I went, oh, well, now that makes sense.
Right.
Now I'll put it that way. But yeah, when this book first came out, it was like I didn't know if I didn't know what I was going to do because it's not personal anymore. Everybody says, oh, now I know what she lived through. You know, at the time, it was a big secret. And after it happened, because there was that guilt, like I caused him to do this. And I had to fight through that guilt. And now it's like, oh my gosh, I don't believe I even felt that. Because I didn't do it. Yeah. But it was like, what did I do to deserve this? What?
Yeah.
Why? And a lot of women that are in abusive situation is like, what did I do? It must be me. You know?
Oh, sure.
Instead of, it's just craziness in the world sometimes.
Yeah.
And the other thing, what I really like about teaching women self-defense, and I don't teach hand-to-hand type stuff, but I think it's also important, is because then they're less apt to be a victim.
Absolutely.
So then if that person comes that's abusive and then they see, maybe she's not a good fit because she's not going to go down easy.
Right, I can't overpower this woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she walks with more confidence, so the more confident you are,
the better you feel about yourself, the more success you can have, the more success that attracts to you. Absolutely.
And it keeps away those
crazy people,
crazy criminals, and
after I got divorced, I was like, you know what? I do not want to be involved with. I say this because I know my ex-wife doesn't watch the show. I don't want to be.
Sure.
Yes. She thinks I'm the crazy one.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to. You put up. After you get out of a bad relationship or something that's divorce, whatever, you say these are my boundaries now. I'm not going to let this person treat me this way. And as soon as they do, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going to deal with this. I say you pull a Popeye. You say that's all I can stand. I can't stand no more. There's your line. You're going to be this way. You're going to treat me this way. I'm done. I'm out. Thanks for coming. Goodbye.
Yeah, and to do that, you have to feel like you're important.
You do. You have to have some self-value. Absolutely. Which,
I'll make that circle again, was when I took that firearms class.
That's cool.
And then I'll just, since I'm wearing this pretty teal shirt,
and that leads right into teal for 2A.
Yes.
Here, pull the strap aside.
Oh, there we go. There we go. It's a hoodie. It's a hoodie. Because in Florida we get a lot of need for hoodies.
I know it gets at least 40.
Exactly. So I'm glad I'm up north Florida.
Last week in my hometown in New England, it was 40, and I stopped wearing a fleece. And I went out with a t-shirt and a t-shirt and a button-down shirt. Wow. Yeah. When it's 17 degrees out for 2 months.
Well, I guess
40, you're like, woo!
Yeah, 40, I'm like...
People are wearing... It's so funny to see New England guys wearing shorts and flip-flops with a hoodie and a Dunkin' Donuts coffee in their hand. It's just how people roll in the winter.
That's true. When we come down to Florida, we go, oh my gosh, you don't have a shirt on, and it's 60, and we're like in our hoodies. But yeah, so the teal wave, the teal for 2A, teal is hitting Florida
Yes.
Calling it the Teal Wave. Woo! We did actually a video on it. But I am the state director for DC Project.
Nice. Love Diana Muller and the DC Project gals.
Yes.
I'm so happy to have Miss Florida in the car.
Yes. I can't believe I'm sitting. Not only that, I'm sitting in this seat, shotgunning with you, for you. But also all the DC Project women that have sitting here before. It's kind of like an honor.
It's. So I will say this, when I went up to you and I'm like, hi, my name's Charlie, you're like, oh yeah, you drive people around.
Yeah, and then I have to check, is it okay if I go with
Right. This is what everyone does. So the coolest one to me was Tatiana Whitlock. I sent her a message. She's up in Maine, so she's not only a couple hours or so from me, and I sent her a message. I said, look, I'm Charlie, interview people in the car, this is what I like to do. I like to have you on the show sometime. She's like, okay, well, let me get back to you. And then I hear from Robin Sandoval from A Girl and a Gun, and I think she's also a DC Project gal.
Yes,
she writes back to me and she says, hey, listen, I just want to let you know, Tatiana Whitlock got in touch with me and I told her you were okay. I told her she's going to have a good time. Because I tell her I'm the stranger danger that, you know.
Well, yeah, you don't usually just jump in someone's car. You
don't.
Especially when they have cameras all over.
I know.
That's even more like,
this is for my protection.
That's what they say.
I did a show with Kim Petters, and I went down to Delaware, and I filmed a show with her in Dover, Delaware. And we'd met before at the DC Project event in DC in the summer of 2019, and we were friends on Facebook and whatever. And so I went to her house to pick her up, and I walked in the house, and she's like, "Oh my God, Charlie, I know who you are." All right, that's cool, man.
I know you.
Right. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it is, and it's been an honor when Diana Mueller asked me to be the director for Florida. I mean, what can you say? Yeah,
I mean, you have to say yes, because your story led to why you how you became empowered with gun ownership and having a gun and what it means to you, and it is important. I know I'm doing your spiel here. It is important to let our legislators know that not only are women gun owners, and they should be able to have a gun, be able to protect themselves, but here's why. No, not all guys are decent guys.
Exactly, that's true. And now then here's what, see, I'm learning about legislation. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like very scary. But so they'll put something like, you have this Violence Against Women Act, mm-hmm. and then they throw in a gun control part of it. So if you vote for it, you're acting on the gun control. If you vote against it, they're going to say you don't care about women.
Right.
I'm like,
it's a no-win situation.
The two have nothing to do with each other. So I'm learning how crazy it is on some of these bills and everything.
I want to say, I'm not going to remember to get the tweet of this, but I saw a meme recently from Everytown. It said that the NRA is pushing for, and they want these people to own guns, and criminals and murderers and rapists and women. Wait a second.
Yep.
How do women protect themselves from the murderers and rapists and robbers? Having a gun would be good.
Firearms, yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's and also another big thing that we're getting, our new project is we want to, our thing is education, not legislation, but also we want to get education on firearms safety back into our schools.
Oh yeah, that would be wonderful.
We're starting to work with another group on that, so I'm looking forward to that, because I think that'd be great if our young Americans, young citizens learn how to operate firearms safely. It takes the mystery out of it.
Absolutely.
Then they're not just doing things like handling live firearms and stuff like that. So
right.
That's another one of our education, as well as developing those relationships with our lawmakers.
Mm-hmm. So. I don't know how old your kids were when you got into it. My kids were super young, and I got into gun ownership so that I could protect my kids, and that's kind of what the game plan was for me. It's kind of why I got into it. But with my kids, when one of their friends found out that my kid's dad was a gun guy and maybe a gun instructor, and they had guns in the house, it was like, oh, Dad's gonna call their parents and ask them if they want to go to the range. Like somebody asked, it's like running into someone at the grocery store. Or I'd be with my kids, somebody asked me a question about gun stuff at the grocery store, and the kids are like, Dad, we're going to wait 3 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, and then we'll go put the ice cream back because it's melting, and then we'll get some new ice cream and then bring it in and we'll check out.
Oh, that's funny.
Because they know it's going to be a pain in the neck, because they know it's going to be it's going to be a gun safety lesson, and then it's going to learn to whatever be off my.
Well, yeah. What happens if you're a doctor? Hey, I have this pain here. What do you think it is? It's like, oh, you know about guns? What do you think I should? That's the other thing. What gun should I get?
Oh my gosh.
Especially when a lot of you guys, spouses, boyfriends, buy guns and give them to their significant others, and then they come to the range and they can't even.
They can't hold them. It's too big. They can't rack the
slide. And how do you say? Well, that's nice, but you might have want to try it first. But it's kind of hard right now. I know a lot of gun ranges aren't letting you rent them because number one, they don't have ammo. Some of them don't. So, but I'm always with if you can try it before you buy it.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
And if you can go to the range and you have other members or other people there to say, hey, try this, try that. That's the best way to do it.
The easiest way for to strike up a conversation with someone at a gun range is to say, hey, I saw one of those in a magazine. What do you think about it? Because it always ends up being, I paid this, I bought it here, I like this, I don't like this. And then often, like we said, it turns into, do you want to try it? To which the answer is yes, of course.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of what the game plan is.
I don't think anyone's ever asked me, do you want to shoot this or try this? And I've never said no.
Yeah, of course.
And a full auto, good Lord, how can you say no to full auto? Especially if you're not paying for the ammo.
That's the best part.
Oh no.
Oh man.
But I did there's one thing I forgot to tell you about my book. I am self-published on Amazon, so you can actually buy my book on Amazon. But also 10% of all my proceeds go to a nonprofit that's helping women that have been through a situation of domestic abuse.
Awesome.
And this year it's a Harmony House in Missouri. Well, last year's funds are going for that. Mm-hmm. And they actually started something called Mask 19. So, when everything was shut down, domestic violence went up.
Right.
Everybody's at home.
Everyone's home.
Yep.
Tensions were high.
Kids, tensions.
Yeah.
So they started this Mask 19. So if a woman would come into a pharmacy and say, I need a Mask 19, the pharmacist knew and they'd call the police.
Wow.
I'm being physically abused. And I thought that was pretty interesting how they came up with that.
That is a good idea.
Yeah. So
I never know who promotes that kind of stuff. Because you hear these stories about, a woman, not even just a woman, but you shouldn't leave your drink at a bar by itself. And you put put your coaster on top of your drink and all that kind of stuff. And I guess there was some drink that you were supposed to order that would let people know that this guy's creepy and you want to get out.
I did not know that.
Really?
I'll look that one up.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I guess that's why women go out. We go out in pairs.
In pairs, right?
There's safety in numbers. There really is.
Exactly.
Don't let your friends go out by themselves.
Right. Cool. All right, what else you got? We're almost back where we need to be. And I hate to say it, but this battery's running low, and it's been running low for a lot of the time.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to start wrapping it up. How can people find all of your stuff and all of your biz, your book?
Okay. Well,
you should definitely get the book.
Yeah. Well,
like I told you, I didn't know you were going to be here. Otherwise, I would have brought my book so I could get a signed copy of it.
Tell you what, I'm still going to give you a signed copy of it, and you just give away that other book to someone who might need it.
I love it. I won a couple of books in New Jersey recently, and I said, I've already got these books, and they're like, you're an instructor, give them away. And I'm like, well, why am I really gonna? So I will gladly do that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So you can find my book on Amazon. It's Heels to Holster, and also I have a website. It's Shirley Watral. SHirleyWatral.com, and I'm on Facebook, Shirley Watral Firearms, and I'm on Instagram. Thanks to the Ambassador Academy, I'm everywhere on social media. It's a whole other story in itself, but anyway.
I gotta get to the Ambassador Academy.
You do, you'd love it. Oh, it's awesome. So yeah, you can find me there. And DC Project,
educate over legislate.
Yeah, educate over legislate, and Florida's got some good gun bills coming up, and some really bad ones coming up.
Some other ones as well.
Yeah. So I'm working hard to get the good ones in and keep the bad ones out.
Keep the bad ones out. Yeah. That's awesome.
Just like the criminals, we want to keep the criminals out, good people in.
Right.
Seems so simple.
It seems so simple.
Doesn't it surprise you that people actually think more gun control, more gun laws keeps the criminals from getting guns? How does that figure? How do they figure? How do they think? Someone's explain that to me.
This is what I don't get. My friends who are well educated will say stuff like that, and you're like, do you really think criminals get guns legally? Well, we need more gun laws. We need stricter background. In Massachusetts, we already have universal background checks where you can't buy a gun unless you have a gun license. You can't even buy ammo. You have to like everything. Everything. If you have a shotgun shell without a license in Massachusetts, it's 2 years of jail time. If you have a shotgun without a license, it's 1 year of jail time. Everything, possession of anything is illegal without a permit. And you have to go through 2 background checks when you get a license, and you go through a background check when you make a purchase. And you can't, of course, sell guns to someone who doesn't have a gun license. So we already have the universal background check, and still the crime rate in Boston and Massachusetts is not good, and criminals still get guns. Why don't people realize this?
I think it boils down to, I think it's just about control. It's not about anyone being safe. It's just control.
It is. All right, listen, Shirley, yes, I'll get an image and put it on there so the book looks good. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for getting in the car with a stranger.
Hey, this was a good ride with a stranger. You're not a stranger anymore now.
Not anymore.
No.
This is what I love about my gig. I'm like, how can I hang out with chicks and not be creepy?
It works.
I know, right?
I want one of those too.
Oh yes! Oh my God! How can I forget these? So I'm going to give you a Riding Shotgun with Charlie patch.
Cool.
There you go. And I'm going to give you 2 stickers. I don't know if you want to put them on your car or on your gun case, but you get a gungram and a couple Riding Shotgun stickers as well.
Awesome.
And if you would like to join the cool club of people who have stickers like this, go to ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com. Check out the swag and merch page. If you would like to have a Riding Shotgun with Charlie or a Gungram shirt, go to the Teespring store, teespring.com/stores/Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Also, check out the Second Amendment Foundation. Become a member there. SAF.org is the website. Check out the Self-Defense Radio Network. It is all of your pro-freedom podcasts in one place. And we will see you next time when we get the stagecoach across America. This is awesome.